The push came without warning. I felt my back hit the porch wall, and before I could regain my balance, the suitcases I had packed with my shaking hands fell down the front steps, scattering my old clothes across the sidewalk. My daughter, Patricia, was standing in the doorway of my own house, the house I built brick by brick, with her arms crossed and a smile on her face. A cold smile, cruel, like he was having fun with it. "Dad, don't you understand yet?" she said, almost laughing. "You have no place here anymore. This house is mine now. Mine and Ricardo. You're just a dead weight that we carried for too long." I was 58 years old. 58 years of life, of work, of sweat, of blood spilled on construction sites and factories to give her everything. And there I was, being treated like dirt, like a nuisance, in front of the neighbors who peered through the windows with pity or curiosity. I felt my chest tighten, but it wasn't just pain. It was anger, and something deeper, something I had been saving for decades, hidden at the bottom of an old drawer in the back room. But at that moment, I still didn't know that that document was going to be the bomb that would completely destroy my daughter. My name is Marcelo dos Santos. I was born and raised in the interior of Minas Gerais, the son of a farmer, the grandson of a former slave. I learned from an early age that black men don't have it easy in this life. My father died when I was 15, and I left school to work in the fields, then in construction, then in a factory. When I met my wife, Joanna, I was a bricklayer. She was a seamstress. We got married in our early 20s with nothing, literally nothing. We rented a small wooden room at the back of a boarding house and started from scratch. 3 years later, Joanna became pregnant. But the birth was difficult, very difficult. She almost died, and the doctor said she couldn't have any more children. We were devastated but grateful to have Patricia in our arms. That girl was our light. Curly hair, big eyes, smile that lit up the shack. Joanna made clothes at home. I worked 12 hours a day at the construction site. We saved every penny. I cut back on sugar, soap, and electricity. Everything to give Patricia a good school. Everything so she doesn't go through what we went through. When she was 10 years old, I managed to buy some land. Small, but it was ours. I built the house with my own hands. Weekend, holiday, early morning, Joanna helped me carrying a bucket, mixing cement. Patricia played in the backyard while we built those walls. It was the best time of my life. But life doesn't make poor people happy for long. When Patricia was 17, Joanna began to feel pain in her body. Tiredness, shortness of breath. We thought it was too much work, but it wasn't. It was cancer, pancreas. When we found out, it was already advanced. It lasted 6 months. 6 months in hospital, expensive medicine, suffering. I sold the old car I had bought. I took out a loan. I worked overtime until I passed out, but it was no use. Joanna died in my arms in a public hospital room asking me to take care of our daughter. Promise, Marcelo. Promise that you will give her everything, that she will study, that she's going to be someone. I promised, and I did. Patricia entered the administration faculty. I paid the monthly fee with my construction salary. She complained that the college was far away, that the bus was bad. I bought her a used motorcycle. He complained that he didn't have nice clothes. I sewed at night, the way Joanna taught me, to make blouses and skirts for her. He complained that his colleagues had new cell phones. I paid one in 12 installments in the booklet. Nothing was enough, but I didn't care. I thought it was a youth thing, that she would mature, that one day I would look back and understand how much I sacrificed. What an idiot I was. Patricia graduated. He got a job at a logistics company. He met Ricardo, a guy from a rich family, son of a merchant. He was a manager, had an imported car, branded clothes, and he had a snake-like smile. The kind that you look at and feel a chill down your spine, but you can't say why. When he came home for dinner for the first time, he looked at the peeling walls, the patched sofa, the old pans, and he made a disgusted face. Disguised, but I saw it. Patricia saw it too. And instead of being angry, she was embarrassed. Ashamed of me, from the house, of our life. From then on, everything changed. They got married in a fancy ballroom that Ricardo's father paid for. I wasn't invited to sit at the main table. I stood in a corner, wearing a borrowed suit, watching my daughter laugh and toast with people I didn't know, people who looked at me as if I were the waiter. After the wedding, Pater Isha almost never showed up at home anymore. When it came, it was fast, always in a hurry, always with a closed face. "Dad, have you ever thought about selling this house?" "Gone," she said one day out of the blue. I was watering the plants in the yard. I stopped and looked at her. "Sell? Why?" "Because you're old. You don't need a house that big. I could sell it, get the money, go live in a smaller apartment, or even with us." Something about her tone bothered me, but I took a deep breath. "Patricia, this house is all I have. I built it with my hands. Your mother died dreaming of seeing it ready. I won't sell." She rolled her eyes. "You are too stubborn." And he left. In the following months, the pressure increased. Ricardo started to appear together, always with proposals, always with papers. He said he knew a broker, that the neighborhood was appreciating, that I was going to get rich. I refused, every time, until one day, 3 months ago, I had a mild stroke. I was hospitalized for a week. When I returned home, weak, shaking, barely able to walk straight, Patricia and Ricardo were waiting for me. "Dad, we need to talk," she said seriously. I sat on the kitchen chair, still dizzy. "You can no longer live alone. You need help. We're moving here to take care of you." I should have suspected, but I was vulnerable, weak, and deep down, I wanted to believe that my daughter loved me. What an idiot I was. And they moved. They brought their things, occupied the master bedroom, put their TV in the living room. I stayed in the back room, where there used to be a storage room. Ricardo started to command everything, change the locks. He put his name on the bills. He said it was to make things easier. Patricia started treating me like an employee. He told me to wash the dishes, sweep the yard, pick up the groceries. When I complained, she sighed. "Dad, we're taking care of you. The least you can do is help." I swallowed the anger, because I still thought it was temporary, that they would soon leave. Until 2 weeks ago, I overheard a conversation. It was night. I was in the little room trying to sleep when I heard voices in the room. Patricia and Ricardo were arguing, but it wasn't a fight. It was planning. "When we get his incapacity certificate, the house will automatically pass to me," Patricia said. "He won't even notice." "What if he touches himself?" Ricardo asked. "He won't. He is old, weak, stupid. Trust me." My heart froze. The next day, without them knowing, I went to the registry office. I discovered that they had already tried to file a lawsuit to declare me mentally incompetent. They just hadn't managed to do it because they still needed a medical report, but they were working on it. That's when I decided I needed to act. But I didn't have money for a lawyer. He had no influential friends, there was nothing. Until I remembered. The document. That yellow envelope that Joanna made me promise on her deathbed that I would only open if it was absolutely necessary. She had tears in her eyes when she said this. I never understood why, but I promised. And I kept that envelope at the bottom of the old drawer in the back room, under blankets, for more than 20 years. That night, after hearing my daughter call me stupid, I opened the envelope, and what I read in there almost killed me. 3 days later, Patricia and Ricardo gave me the ultimatum. It was morning. I was drinking coffee in the kitchen when they walked in, arms crossed. "Dad, we decided, you are going to leave this house, today." I looked up, still holding the cup. "Like this?" Ricardo took a threatening step forward. "You heard. Pack your bags. This house belongs to Patricia now. We've already spoken to a lawyer. You have no rights." "I built this house," and I shouted, feeling my anger rising. Patricia laughed, a dry, cruel laugh. "Did you build it? You barely know how to read, Dad. This house has always been mine, by family law, and now by legal right. You are dead weight. We can't take it anymore." That's when she pushed me. But what they didn't know was that, inside the pocket of my old pants, I was carrying the yellow envelope, and this truth was going to destroy my daughter completely. After my clothes fell to the sidewalk and Patricia pushed me out of my own house, I was left standing there, in the middle of the street, with the neighbors watching. Donna Nuza, from the house next door, came to the fence. "Mr. Marcello, what happened? Are you okay?" I couldn't respond. My throat was closed. My legs were shaking. I picked up the clothes scattered on the floor, stuffed them haphazardly into the old suitcases, and walked away. No destination. Aimless. I just wanted to get out of there before I collapsed in front of everyone. I walked 3 blocks. They walked to a small square. I sat on a concrete bench, under a tree, and it was only then that I let the tears fall. 58 years of life, more than 30 years of hard work, and my own daughter threw me away like I was an old dog. But in my pants pocket I felt the weight of the yellow envelope, and something inside me said that that paper was the only weapon I had. Wow, since I opened the envelope right there on the park bench with my hands shaking. Inside were 3 documents. The first was a birth certificate, but it wasn't the certificate I knew. It wasn't the one we used to enroll Patricia in school. This was different. The mother's name was blank. The father's name, too. It only had the child's name, Patricia, no surname. Date of birth, March 10th, 1985. Location, San Juan del Rey Municipal Hospital. And below, stamped in red, registered as abandoned, in temporary custody of the state. My heart raced. The second document was a handwritten letter. The lyrics were by Joanna. I recognized it right away. That neat handwriting, from someone who taught herself to write, copying the words slowly. The letter said, "Marcello, if you're reading this, it's because I'm gone, and it's because you needed to know the truth. Patricia is not our daughter by blood. She was abandoned at the hospital door 3 days after she was born. Nobody knows who the mother was. Nobody wanted her. When I found out from the nurse who was my friend, My heart hurt so much that I couldn't let that girl go to the shelter. You were working away that week. When you came back, I told you that I had given birth, that it had been a quick birth, that the girl was ours. You believed. Everyone believed. I forged the certificate with the help of an employee at the registry office. I paid for everything we had saved, but it was worth it, because Patricia was ours. In our hearts, she was always ours. I just ask, Marcelo, never tell her this. She can't know. It would be too cruel. I would destroy her. Please promise. I love you. Forgive my lie. Joanna. I read that letter 3 times. 4, 5, trying to process. Patricia was not my biological daughter. Joanna had lied to me for 20 years. And yet, even discovering this now, I felt immense pain in my chest, because I had loved that girl since day one. He had picked her up, taught her to walk, dried her tears when she fell. He had worked like a convict to give her everything, and she threw me away. The third document was a provisional custody agreement, signed by Joanna. No legal value, because it had been done irregularly, but it was there. Proof that Patricia had no right to the house, because legally she wasn't even registered as my legitimate daughter. The certificate we used was fake. This meant that the entire process she and Ricardo were trying to do to get me out of the house had no basis whatsoever, because Patricia was not the legal heir of anything. But if I showed these documents, if I told the truth, I would destroy my daughter. It would destroy the image she had of herself. It would destroy everything. And Joanna had made me promise that I would never do that. I stayed there in the square until dark, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, until my cell phone rang. It was Donna Nuza, the neighbor. Mr. Marcelo, where are you? Come sleep here at home today. No, it's not. I'm not going to leave you on the street. I went, because I had no choice. Donna Nuza welcomed me, gave me hot soup, gave me the sofa in the living room. She was a widow, retired, a woman of faith. As I ate the soup, she looked at me with pity. Mr. Marcelo, what that girl did to you was cruel, but God sees everything. You will see. The truth always comes out. I didn't respond, but deep down I knew she was right. The truth would come out, and when it came, it would be an earthquake. In the following days, I stayed at Donna Nuza's house, but I didn't stay still. I needed to understand Patricia and Ricardo's plan. I needed to know how far they were willing to go. So on a day when I knew they were going to leave, I went back to my house. I entered through the back, through the small window of the little room that never closed properly. I entered my own room like a thief, and I started looking. I found papers scattered across the living room table, contracts, printed emails, conversations with a lawyer, and what I read there chilled my blood. They weren't just trying to take my house away. They were trying to forcibly admit me to a psychiatric asylum. They had a fraudulent medical report, signed by a doctor I had never seen in my life. He said that I suffered from advanced senile dementia, and that I represented a danger to myself and society. Everything lied frog. But with that report, they would be able to admit me, and once inside, they would have complete control of the house. They could sell, they could do whatever they wanted, and I would be arrested, doped, forgotten. I took photos of everything with my old cell phone. My hands shook with anger, of fear, of despair, and that's when I heard the key turning in the front door. They had returned. I hid behind the bedroom door, holding my breath. I heard their voices in the room. He hasn't looked for a lawyer yet, Ricardo said. He's probably sleeping on the street like a beggar. Patricia laughed. Even better. When we get the arrest warrant, it will be easy. Nobody will defend him. He has no one. And the house? Ricardo asked. I've already spoken to the broker. As soon as we have the documentation, we sell it. There is a buyer offering $380,000. We can buy that apartment in the upscale neighborhood and still have money left over. You're cold, huh, love? Ricardo said, but the tone was admiration, throwing away his own father like that. Patricia sighed. He's not my real father, Ricardo. He's just an old man who raised me because my mother asked him to. I don't owe him anything. Nothing. Those words cut me like a knife. He's not my real father. How did she know? I waited for them to go to the room. I left through the back window. I returned to Donna Nuza's house with my heart racing, my head exploding. And that's when I realized Patricia knew. She knew she wasn't my biological daughter. I don't know how. I don't know when she found out. But she knew, and yet she treated me that way. Because for her, I had never been a father. I was always just an old man who raised her. That night, Donna Nuza saw my despair. Mr. Marcelo, you need help. You need to report this. Report it to who, Ms. Nuza? I said, my voice breaking. I'm an old black man without education, without a lawyer, without money. Who will believe me? She took my hand. God believes, and I believe, and you will find a way, because you are strong. It always was. The next day, I went to the public defender's office. I waited in line for 4 hours. When I was finally seen, A young, tired lawyer looked at the photos I had taken. Mr. Marcello, you have evidence here of document fraud, attempted forced hospitalization, and embezzlement. This is serious, but it will be difficult. They have a private lawyer. You will need time. I don't have time, I said. They'll catch me at any moment. She sighed. I'll register the complaint, but you need to be safe. Don't go back to that house, and don't confront them alone. I left there with a letterhead, but without hope. Until that afternoon I had an idea. I remembered something Joanna always said. Marcello, when the injustice is too great, there's no point in just crying. You have to expose it. You have to bring it to light. And that's when I thought, what if I showed the documents? What if I told everyone the truth in front of the family, from friends, from the neighbors? Patricia was organizing a family dinner at the end of the month. She had mentioned this before kicking me out. It was to celebrate her and Ricardo's new phase. He would have his parents, his uncles, his cousins. If I could get in there and show those documents in front of everyone, the game would change. But I needed courage and a plan. I spent the next few days reminiscing, remembering when Patricia was a child, from when she called me daddy with that toothless smile, from when I taught her to ride a bike and she fell and cried, and I held her on my lap and said, Dad is here, I will always be. I remembered when Joanna died and Patricia slept on my lap, crying, saying, Don't leave me, Dad, please. Had it all been a lie? Did she never really love me? Or had Ricardo poisoned her? Had ambition killed that girl's heart? I didn't know, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going to let them destroy me without a fight. The day before dinner, I was at Dona Nuza's house when my cell phone rang. It was an unknown number. Answered. Hello, Marcelo dos Santos? A female, young, nervous voice. Yes, it's me. My name is Carla. I worked with Patricia 2 years ago. I heard what she's doing to you and I need to tell you something. One thing she made me swear I would never tell anyone. My heart froze. What is it? Her voice shook. Patricia. She discovered that she was not her biological daughter 3 years ago. She hired a detective to investigate her past, and when she discovered the truth, she became obsessed with finding out who it was. Her biological mother. She found it, and you won't believe who it is. I held the cell phone tightly. Who? Her mother is Eliane Ferreira, the owner of the construction company where you worked for 15 years. The woman who fired you without just cause and never paid her severance pay. The world spun. Patricia was the daughter of the woman who had destroyed me. After Carla hung up the phone, I stood in Dona Nuza's living room, feeling the floor disappear beneath my feet. Eliane Ferreira. That name had haunted me for 15 years. The woman who had fired me without just cause, left me without severance pay, humiliated me in front of the other construction workers by saying I was too old and too slow for construction. I had tried to sue her at the time, but I didn't have money for a good lawyer. I lost, and I never received a cent. And now I discovered that she was Patricia's biological mother. This couldn't be a coincidence. The next morning, I called Carla back. She answered nervously, speaking quietly as if someone might be listening. Mr. Marcello, I can't say much, but I need you to know. Patricia didn't find out about her mother by chance. Eliane was the one who found her. Like this? 3 years ago, Eliane hired a detective to track down all the babies abandoned at the hospital in 1985. She wanted to find the daughter she had abandoned because she was remorseful. When she found out it was Patricia, she looked for her personally. He offered money, a lot of money, but on one condition. My heart accelerated. What condition? Carla took a deep breath. That Patricia would get you out of the way, to take the house that you built. Because Eliane, she hated you. She said you had sued her, tried to tarnish her reputation, and she wanted revenge. But I couldn't do it directly, because it would be obvious. So she used Patricia. I closed my eyes, feeling the anger rising, and Patricia accepted. At first she was in shock, but Eliane offered 200,000 reis, and he promised more after the house was sold. Patricia, she chose the money, Mr. Marcello. She chose the biological mother who abandoned her over the father who raised her her entire life. The words cut me like blades. Why are you telling me this now, Carla? She hesitated. Because Patricia fired me. When I questioned what she was doing, she threatened me. She said that if I told her anything, she would kill me. But I can't sit still and watch you suffer. You don't deserve this. Do you have proof of this? I asked, my voice shaking. I have prints of conversations between her and Eliane, emails. I kept everything. I can send it to you. He sends. Send everything. 2 hours later, my cell phone rang. Carla had sent more than 20 prints. WhatsApp conversations between Patricia and a number saved as EF, Eliane Ferreira. The messages were from a year ago, and they were devastating. EF, when are you going to act? It's been too long. Patricia, he still trusts me. I need more time to gain his trust. EF, you're weak. I didn't create you, but I expected you to be more cold-blooded. Patricia, I'll do it, you just have to wait. EF. After he leaves the house, you sell it and share it with me. 50-50. And we never talk about it again. Patricia. What if he finds out? EF. He won't. He's stupid. Always has been. I read that and felt like screaming. From punching the wall, from crying, but he couldn't do any of that. I needed calm. I needed a plan. I saved everything. I printed it at an internet cafe. I went back to Dona Nuz's house and spread the papers on the table. Now I had 1. Patricia's fake birth certificate. 2. Joanna's letter confessing the irregular adoption. 3. The provisional custody term. 4. Photos of fraudulent psychiatric report documents. 5. Prints of conversations between Patricia and Eliane. I had everything, but I needed more. I needed to confront someone, and I knew exactly who. And that afternoon, I went to the Ferreira Construction Company. The building was large, modern, made of mirrored glass, totally different from what it was 15 years ago. Eliane had grown up, enriched, probably on people like me. I entered the reception. The girl at the table looked me up and down with that look I knew well. The look of someone who sees an old black man and assumes he is there to ask for a job or to clean something. Isn't it? She said dryly. I want to speak to Ms. Eliane. She laughed. Mrs. Ferreira does not answer without an appointment. Tell her it's Marcelo dos Santos. She will want to see me. The girl rolled her eyes but picked up the phone. He spoke quietly, then hung up, surprised. She told you to go up. 12th floor. Eliane's office was huge. Marble floor, leather furniture, expensive paintings on the wall, and there she was, sitting behind a mahogany table in a gray suit, blonde hair tied into an impeccable bun. She was about 60 years old but looked younger. Plastic surgery for sure. When she saw me, she smiled. A cold smile, full of contempt. Marcelo dos Santos, how long? I thought you were already dead. I closed the door behind me. I came to look for answers. She crossed her arms. Answers to what? About you and my daughter. Her smile widened. Oh yes, Patricia, my biological daughter. Beautiful girl, isn't she? Too bad it was created by a loser like you. I felt anger rising, but I took a deep breath. You planned all of this. You used her to get revenge on me. Eliane got up, walked to the window, looking at the city below. Revenge? She laughed. Marcelo, you're not important enough for me to want revenge. You're just an insect. But when I found out that that girl I abandoned had been raised by you, of all people, well, it was too good an opportunity to pass up. You offered her money to destroy me. I offered, and she accepted. Do you know why? Because she never loved you, Marcelo. She always knew you were a loser, a pathetic old man who never gave her anything of value. When I offered her a better life, she jumped at the chance. I clenched my fists. I created her. I gave her everything. Eliane turned to me, her eyes shining with cruelty. You gave crumbs. I gave perspective. And now, that house you built with your bricklayer hands is going to be sold, and the money will come to me, half of it at least. Consider this as late payment for severance pay that you never received. She laughed. I took a step forward. I have proof of everything, conversations, documents. I'm going to expose you and Patricia. Her smile didn't waver. Expose? For whom, Marcelo? Do you think anyone will believe you? An old black man with no money, no lawyer, no credibility? I have power. I have expensive lawyers. If you try to hit me, I'll finish you off, put you in a real asylum. I make you disappear. You are nothing. I looked into her eyes, and I saw emptiness, pure evil. You abandoned your daughter, and now he's using it again. You are not a mother. You are a monster. She shrugged. Perhaps. But I'm a rich and powerful monster, and you? You're just trash who should have died a long time ago. I left there shaking with anger, but also with one certainty. I couldn't let those two women win. I couldn't let evil triumph. I went back to Dona Nuz's house and sat at the kitchen table. She brought me coffee, saw my condition. Mr. Marcelo, what happened? I told everything, every word. When I finished, she was crying. My God, this woman is the devil herself. And I don't know how to beat her, Ms. Nuza. She's right. Who will believe me? Dona Nuza held my hands. God believes. And the truth always wins, Marcelo. Always. You just need to bring her into the light, in front of everyone at dinner as you planned. But what if it doesn't work? What if they shut me up first? She shook my hands. So you fight until the end, because that's what honorable men do. Si no si. In the following days, I finalized my plan. Patricia's family dinner was in 2 days. I was going to show up there, uninvited, and expose everything. In front of Ricardo's parents, uncles, cousins. In front of everyone. But 2 days before dinner, something happened. I was leaving the bakery with my morning bread when a black car stopped next to me. 2 large men got out. Dark suits, sunglasses. Marcelo dos Santos. My heart froze. Yes, you need to come with us. Who are you? One of them showed identification. Justice officer. We have a warrant for compulsory hospitalization against you, signed by Judge Tavares. You have been diagnosed with senile dementia and pose a danger to yourself. Let's take him to a psychiatric institution. I backed away. That's a lie. I don't have any dementia. This is fraud, they advanced. Sir, don't resist. Makes things easier. I looked around. Dona Noisa wasn't around. No one who could help me. I thought about running, but my knees wouldn't take it. I thought about screaming, but who would believe me? That's when a voice cut through the air. Stop. The men turned. I turned. And there was Carla, the girl who had called me. She had a cell phone in her hand, filming. I'm recording everything, and I've already sent this recording to 3 different lawyers. If you take this man, I will sue you for fraudulent execution of a warrant. I have proof that this medical report is false. The men hesitated. Madam, this is a judicial matter. I know exactly what it is. And I know that Patricia Ferreira and Eliane Ferreira bribed the doctor who signed that report. I have recordings. I have emails. You are executing a criminal warrant. And if they take him, you'll go to jail with them. The men looked at each other. One of them took out his cell phone and made a call. He spoke quietly, turned off. Let's reevaluate the situation, he said tensely. And they got in the car and drove away. I looked at Carla in disbelief. You saved me, she smiled nervously. I said I wouldn't let them do that to you. I had been following you for 2 days, waiting for them to try something, and they tried. How did you get these recordings? I hacked Patricia's email. I know it's illegal, but it was the only way. And what I found inside? Mr. Marcelo, they planned to kill you if the hospitalization didn't work. My blood ran cold. What? She showed her cell phone. An email from Eliane to Patricia. If he resists hospitalization, you know what to do. Accidents are easy to simulate. Old man falling downstairs, nobody suspects. I felt my legs weaken. They wanted to kill me. Carla held my arm. Mr. Marcelo, you can't go back to the street. They will try again. And next time I might not be around. So what do I do? I asked, desperate. She took a deep breath. You anticipate the plan. Dinner is in 2 days, but Patricia and Ricardo will be at the house tonight, alone. It's your only chance to go in there, get the documents that are still missing and confront them before they kill you. What if they try something? Carla showed her cell phone. I'll be outside, recording everything, and the police will be just a phone call away. But you need to be quick and brave. I looked at her, then to heaven, and I thought about Joanna. I thought about the promise I had made, and I decided I was going to confront my daughter, even if it was the last thing I did. That night at 8 o'clock, I was standing in front of my own house, the house I built, the house they had stolen from me. The lights were on. I saw Patricia's shadow passing through the living room window. My heart was beating so hard I thought it was going to explode. Carla was on the other side of the street in her car with her cell phone ready to record everything. We had agreed on the plan. I was going to go in, confront them, and record the entire conversation with the cell phone in my pocket. If they tried to attack me or threaten me, Carla would call the police immediately. I took a deep breath. I held the yellow envelope with the documents, and I rang the doorbell. Ricardo opened the door. When he saw me, his face fell. What are you doing here? I came to get what's mine, I replied firmly. He laughed mockingly. You have nothing here. Get lost before I call the police. Call it, I said, looking into his eyes. Call me what I want, because I have a lot to say to the police too. He hesitated. Patricia appeared behind him. Father, what are you doing here? Her voice had a hint of nervousness. Good. She must have been nervous. I came to talk to you, Patricia. It's important. She crossed her arms. We have nothing to talk about. Yes, he has. About Eliane Ferreira, your biological mother. The silence that fell was deafening. Patricia's face turned pale. Ricardo looked at her, confused. How do you know that? She stammered. I know a lot, daughter. I know she found you 3 years ago. I know he offered you money to get me out of this house. I know you two planned to forcibly commit me to an asylum, and I know that if this didn't work, you would kill me. Patricia took a step back, her face red. That's a lie. Who told you these lies? It's not a lie, I said, taking my cell phone out of my pocket and showing the prints. It's all here. Conversations between you and her, emails, plans, all. Ricardo moved forward, trying to take the cell phone from my hand. Give me this. I backed away. Don't touch me. It's all recorded. Everything saved. If you touch me, you'll go straight to the police. Patricia started to cry, but they were not tears of regret. They were tears of anger. You don't understand anything, she shouted. You never understood. I spent my entire life being a construction worker's daughter, being humiliated at school because my clothes were old, because I didn't have the things that other girls had. Do you think I wanted to live like that? I gave you everything I could, I shouted back, feeling the pain explode in my chest. I worked until I passed out to give you school clothes, food. I loved you as a daughter, Patricia, but I'm not your daughter, she screamed, the veins in her neck standing out. I never went. You're just an old man that my fake mother maid started raising me. You are nothing of mine." Those words cut me deeper than any knife. I felt tears burning in my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. "Joanna loved you," I said, my voice shaking. "She saved you from being thrown into a shelter. She gave you a home, and I created you as mine. But you threw all that away for money." Patricia laughed, a bitter laugh, full of contempt. "Money buys dignity, father, something you never gave me." Ricardo placed his hand on her shoulder, trying to calm her down, but I saw something in his face. Fear. He knew the situation was getting out of control. "Marcelo," he said, trying to sound reasonable, "let's talk calmly. We can resolve this without a scandal. How much do you want? 50,000, 100,000, we pay you and you disappear. Nobody needs to know anything." I looked at him with disgust. "Do you think I want money? Do you think I'm like you?" "Everyone has a price," he said cynically. "I don't have. And do you know why? Because I have dignity, something you guys sold a long time ago." Patricia took a step forward, her eyes shining with hatred. "So what do you want? Revenge? Do you want to destroy me?" I took the yellow envelope out of my pocket. I opened it slowly. I got the fake birth certificate, Joanna's letter, the term of irregular custody. "I want you to know the truth," I said, showing the papers. "Your biological mother, Eliane, abandoned you at a hospital door. Nobody wanted you, Patricia. Nobody. Until Joanna took you in her arms and decided to love you. She forged documents, spent everything we had, risked going to jail, everything to give you a family. And me? I created you as mine. I loved you as mine. And you pay me like this." Patricia took the papers from my hands, reading them with wide eyes. When she finished, she threw everything on the floor. "Lie! This is all a lie you invented to manipulate me." "It's not a lie," I said calmly. "You can check. Go to the registry office. Look for the original birth certificate, the one that's in the archives. You will see that it is blank. No father, no mother, just the abandoned stamp." She started to shake. Ricardo held her by the shoulders. "Don't listen to him, love. He's trying to confuse you." But I saw the doubt on her face, the crack. "And there's more," I continued. "Eliane didn't look for you out of love. She came to you to get revenge on me, because I sued her years ago, because I tried to get my rights back, and she never forgave me for that. So she used you as a weapon, bought you, and you left." Patricia looked at me, her eyes filled with tears of confusion and anger. "You're lying." "I'm not. Call her now. Call Eliane and ask if she really loves you. Ask her if she wanted you when you were born. Ask her if she would really share the house money with you." Silence fell again. That's when my cell phone rang. It was Carla. I answered on speakerphone. "Mr. Marcelo, the police are arriving." I called them. "There's a police car 2 blocks away." Ricardo turned white. "Did you call the police?" "I didn't call," I said. "But someone who cares about me called, and now you're going to have to explain to them the false documents, the fraudulent report, and the messages planning to kill me." Patricia looked at Ricardo desperate. "Do something." But Ricardo was already taking the car keys. "I'm leaving. I'm not going to burn myself because of your crazy obsession." He ran out the back door. Patricia stood there, alone, staring at me. You destroyed everything," she said, her voice breaking. "No, Patricia, you destroyed it. You chose money. He chose the lie. And now you will have to face the consequences." Sirens began to sound in the street. 2 police officers entered. I showed the documents. I showed the prints. I explained everything. They looked at Patricia, who was shocked, silent. "You will have to come with us to give a statement," one of the police officers said. Patricia looked at me, her eyes pleading. "Dad, please, don't do this to me." But I shook my head. "I'm not your father anymore. You made that very clear." They took her, and I stayed there, in my room, alone, feeling the weight of everything that had happened. Carla came in and hugged me. "You were very brave." "I don't know if I was brave," I said, my voice weak. "I only did what was right." In the following days, everything came to a head. The police investigated Eliane Ferreira. They discovered that she had bribed the doctor who signed the false report. They discovered the plan to admit me. They discovered the bank transfers to Patricia. All. The family dinner that Patricia had planned happened, but not in the way she expected. Ricardo's parents showed up, but not to celebrate. They showed up to confront. When they found out everything, they kicked Ricardo out of the house and cut off relations with him. Eliane was indicted for fraud, fraudulent misrepresentation, and attempted murder. He lost contracts, lost clients, lost his reputation. Her construction company collapsed, and she, for the first time in her life, was alone. Patricia was indicted as an accomplice, lost his job. She lost her husband, who fled in cowardice, lost everything. And the house? The house legally returned to me. The judge annulled all fraudulent processes and declared that Patricia had no right to the property, as the adoption had been irregular and she had acted in bad faith. 2 weeks later, Patricia came to me. She appeared at the door of the house, thin, with dark circles under her eyes, messy hair. None of that arrogance from before. "Father," she said, her voice weak. "Can I come in?" I hesitated, but I left it. She sat on the sofa where she used to sit when she was a child. He looked around, tears falling. "I ruined everything, didn't I?" I didn't respond. "Eliane, she abandoned me again. When the police showed up, they said that I had come up with the whole plan, that she didn't know anything. She threw me under the bus, Dad. I warned you," I said without emotion. "I warned you. She didn't love you." Patricia sobbed. I was an idiot. I threw away the only person who truly loved me, my mother Joanna, and you, and now I have no one. You made your choices, Patricia." She raised her red eyes to me. "Can you forgive me?" I took a deep breath. Forgiveness is one thing. Trust is another. I can forgive because that's what Joanna would want. But trust? You lost that forever. She nodded, crying. "I deserve it." But then, she took something out of her bag, an envelope. He placed it on the table. I found this in Eliane's apartment, before she was arrested. It's a letter, which she wrote but never sent. It's about you. I took the envelope, suspicious. I opened it. It was a handwritten letter, in Eliane's handwriting, and when I read it, my heart stopped. "Marcelo, you will never read this, but I need to write. I abandoned you 40 years ago. You don't know that, but you are also my son. I was young, poor, pregnant by a man who abandoned me. I left you at the door of a house in the country. I abandoned you, but someone caught you, created you. Years later, when you showed up working at my construction company, I recognized you, by the face, through the eyes, but I never told you. And when you sued me, I destroyed you, because it was easier to hate you than to admit my guilt. And now, by using your adopted daughter against you, I finally got the revenge I wanted. But the truth is that I'm not taking revenge on you. I'm taking revenge on myself, of the monster I became. You deserved a better mother. Patricia deserved a better mother. But that's what I am. An empty woman full of hate who destroys everything she touches. I'm very sorry, but it's too late. I let the letter fall from my hands. Eliane Ferreira was my biological mother. Patricia looked at me, waiting for my reaction, but I couldn't feel anything, just a huge void. "This means," she began, her voice weak, "that Eliane is your mother, and my mother. Are we blood brothers?" I looked up at her, and for the first time I saw not a traitor, but a victim, just like me. 2 abandoned children, handled by the same woman. "She destroyed us, Patricia," I said, my voice hoarse. "She destroyed us from the beginning." And at that moment, Patricia collapsed. He fell to his knees on the floor, crying, "Father, forgive me, please." But before I could respond, my cell phone rang. It was the police. Eliane Ferreira had escaped from prison, and she was coming to get me. Eliane Ferreira had escaped from prison, and he was coming to get me. I hung up the phone and looked at Patricia, who was still on her knees on the floor, crying. My heart raced. It wasn't fear, it was something worse. It was the certainty that everything would end there, that night, one way or another. "Get up," I told her firmly. "Get up now." Patricia looked at me, confused, wiping away her tears. "What it was? Your mother, our mother, escaped from prison, and she's coming here." Her face turned white. "What? What do you mean she ran away?" "I don't know, but the police just called me, and if she's coming, it's not to apologize. It's to finish what you started." Patricia stood up, trembling. "We need to get out of here." "No," I said, walking to the window and looking at the dark street. "I'm not running away anymore. I spent my whole life running away, escaping poverty, humiliation, contempt, but now I face it." "Dad, she's dangerous. She might have a gun." I looked at her. "I know, but this house is mine. I built it, and this is where it ends." But I called Carla. She answered right away. "Mr. Marcelo, the police already know. They're on the way." "How long?" 10 minutes at most." "There won't be time," I said, looking out the window again. A black car had just parked in front of the house. "She's already arrived." Carla shouted on the other end of the line. "Don't open the door. Don't open it for the love of God." But I had already turned it off. Eliane got out of the car. She was different, without the impeccable suit, without the tidy hair. Her blonde hair was loose, disheveled, pale face, deep circles under his eyes. She looked 10 years older. She looked like a destroyed woman, but there was still that sparkle in her eyes, that hate. She knocked on the door. 3 strong knocks. "Marcelo, open that door." Patricia hid behind me, shaking. "Don't open it, Dad, please." But I took a deep breath, and I opened it. Eliane was in front of me, dirt-stained clothes, scratched hands, and in the eyes a madness that I had never seen before. She pushed the door in, making me step back. "You," she said, pointing her finger at me, "you destroyed everything. My company, my reputation, my life." "I didn't destroy anything. I replied firmly. You destroyed yourself. She gave a bitter laugh. I should have killed you when you were a baby. It should have ended there, at the door of that house in the country. But I was weak, and now you're here, haunting me like a ghost. Patricia came out from behind me, her voice shaking. You are a monster. You abandoned us, both. And now you want to blame us? Eliane turned to her, her face distorted with anger. You, my ungrateful little daughter, I gave you money. I gave you purpose, and you couldn't even finish the job. You are as weak as he is. I'm not weak, Patricia said, and for the first time I saw courage in her voice. I was manipulated, for you, but now I know who you really are. You are not a mother. You are a void. Eliane moved forward, raising her hand as if to hit her, but I put myself ahead. He arrives. She stopped, looking at me. Get out of the way, Marcelo. No. Get out of the front. No, I repeated, looking into her eyes without fear. You're not going to touch her. You've already done enough harm. Eliane was breathing heavily, her chest rising and falling, and that's when she took something from her waist. A knife. Patricia screamed. I backed away, but didn't take my eyes off her. Are you going to kill me? I asked, my voice strangely calm. Is this how you want to end it? Killing your own son? You are not my son, she shouted, her voice breaking. You're just a bad memory, a shame. I know what I am, I said slowly. I am a man who was abandoned, who grew up without a mother, who worked his whole life to have dignity. But I never abandoned anyone. I have never thrown away a child. I have never destroyed a family out of revenge. That's you, not me. Her hands shook. The knife shook. I didn't want to be like this, she murmured, her eyes filling with tears. I didn't want to, but life broke me. Life breaks everyone, I said, feeling my own voice choke. But we choose how to react. You chose hate. I chose love. And that's why, even though I've lost everything, I still have peace. And you have nothing. Eliane collapsed. He fell to his knees on the floor, dropping the knife, sobbing like a child. It was pathetic. It was tragic. He was human. I'm so sorry, she cried. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But the words were empty. Too late. Sirens started to sound outside. Blue and red lights invaded the room through the window. The police had arrived. 4 police officers entered, guns drawn. They saw Eliane on the floor. They saw the knife. They saw me standing up. Sir, are you okay? Yes, I replied, tired. You can take her. They lifted Eliane, handcuffed her. She didn't resist. I just kept crying, repeating I'm sorry like a broken mantra. When they took her away, she looked back one last time. He looked at me. He looked at Patricia, and he said, in a hoarse voice, I wish I had been a better mother. Patricia looked away. I didn't say anything, because he had nothing to say. She left, and the house was silent. Patricia sat on the sofa, exhausted, her face in her hands. I sat next to her. We stayed like that for a while, in silence, processing everything. Father, she said finally, her voice weak, what do we do now? I sighed. You will have to answer in court for the crimes he committed. I won't protect you from this. She nodded, crying. I know, I deserve it. But, I continued, looking at her, I'll be there, in court, as a witness, and I will tell you everything. The manipulation, the abandonment, the way Eliane used you. That doesn't absolve you, but maybe it will help the judge understand. She looked up, surprised. Why? After everything I've done, because that Joanna would want, I said, feeling the tears finally fall. Because after all, you were my daughter once, and a part of me still loves you. Patricia collapsed on my shoulder crying, and I left. Because despite the pain, despite the betrayal, despite everything, I was still a father. 3 months later, Eliane's trial was quick. With all the evidence, she was sentenced to 15 years in prison for fraud, misrepresentation, witness corruption, attempted murder, and escape. Lost everything. The company went bankrupt. The assets were confiscated. She was left alone, in a cold cell, paying for the crimes she committed. Patricia was sentenced to 2 years in an open regime with community service. The judge considered that she had been manipulated, but that she was still responsible. She accepted. No complaining, no crying. He just lowered his head and accepted it. Richard? It disappeared. Nobody heard from him again. He probably changed his city, his name. He ran away from shame, coward to the end. And me? I went back to my house. The house I built. Donna Noza helped me renovate. We painted the walls, fixed the furniture, planted flowers in the yard. It looked beautiful, simple, but beautiful. Carla continued to visit me. She became a friend, a sister. She said I had changed her life, but the truth is she saved mine. And Patricia, once a month she appears, bring flowers to Joanna's grave. We go together. It remains there in silence, each with their own thoughts. She doesn't live with me anymore, and maybe he never will, but we are trying, rebuilding. slowly. It is not complete forgiveness. It's not trust, but it's a start. There are days when I still cry. I cry for Joanna, because of the naivety I had, for the pain of being betrayed by the person I loved most. But there are days when I smile. I smile because I survived, because I faced evil and didn't let it destroy me, because I still have dignity. And do you know what I learned from all of this? I learned that family is not blood. Family is choice. Family is what stays when everything falls apart. Family is who loves you on your worst days. Joanna was not Patricia's biological mother, but she was more of a mother than anyone else could be, because she chose to love, and me, I chose to forgive, not out of weakness, but by force, because forgiving is not forgetting. Forgiving is releasing. It's letting go of the weight. It's choosing not to let hate eat away at your heart. Today, I wake up early, I make coffee, I sit on the porch of my house and look at the sun rising, and I thank you. I'm grateful that I survived, for having fought, for winning. I didn't win in the sense that the world understands. I didn't get rich, I didn't become famous, but I won in my soul, and that no one can take away from me. If you are going through something similar, if you are being betrayed, humiliated, despised, I want to tell you something. Don't give up. Don't give up your dignity. Don't give up on the truth. Don't give up fighting, because justice can take time. It might hurt. It may seem like it will never arrive, but she arrives. And when it arrives, it restores. And you will survive. You will get up, and you will look back and realize that you were stronger than you imagined. My name is Marcelo dos Santos. I am 58 years old. I am a retired bricklayer, father of a daughter who cheated on me, son of a mother who abandoned me. But most of all, I am a survivor. And if I can do it, you can too.